The self-assessments you'll be using here in year 2 are very similar, if not exactly the same, as the self-assessments you used in year 1. But let's take a look at them quickly. This is the self-assessment of CSTPs. Check the directions. This self-assessment tool is intended to be used in conjunction with the continuum of teaching practice. And that is that multi-page rubric-like document that I will hand to you. You might have yours from last year. But it is how you determine whether you feel your teaching practice is currently emerging, exploring, applying, integrating, or innovating. Otherwise, it would be really hard to select, well, I think I'm at the level of applying if we don't have some description of what that is. On the left-hand side, you'll see, for example, this is CSTP1. If those red boxes come up, please just click them closed. CSTP1, let's look at element 1.1, using knowledge of students to engage them in learning. Initially, for this year, and this is due September 20th, according to the timeline, you will need to have completed this initial self-assessment for this year. Please make sure you include the date. As this is a PDF file, you will need to print it off and handwrite into it more than likely, unless you have a PDF editor. So please go through all of the CSTPs. It doesn't mean that in this initial self-assessment that you must have a response for each and every element of each and every CSTP. It's going to be most helpful for you, though, if you have maybe 50% of them done and not necessarily all in the same CSTPs. Remember, the purpose of this is that you're really reflecting and self-assessing upon your teaching so that you can begin to really think about what are some areas of focus on which I really want to hone in and perhaps do action research and inquiry on this year. You will need to scan and upload this document, and again, the final date to upload that is September 20th. That's on your timeline, and also on the calendar due date. Here we have something that looks very similar to what you used last year. It's very slightly different. This is the self-assessment for the induction standards, and the first one you see listed here is Pedagogy 2.5. So what you're going to be looking at is it's similar. On the left-hand side, you'll find the text of a portion of that induction standard. Here is a prompt, which is a question. Here is evidence. We're not going to be dealing with that right at this moment, so we're going to pass that. And here, the same question you'll find as last year. Describe your strengths and challenges related to assessment, which means related to this question. There's an initial self-assessment date with comments. Please make sure you insert the date and the comments. Later, you'll be doing a final self-assessment and comments. Actually, you'll be doing one after each inquiry. So as you scan down, you'll see there's one for pedagogy. There are multiple questions, one based on the assessment data, one based on how you create a safe and healthy learning environment, and one on technology. That's all based on pedagogy. We then have 2.6, equity for all students. We then have 2.6a, teaching English learners. We then have teaching special populations. If you continue to scroll down, you're going to see one that has a key. For you, please disregard this. Notice it says clear education specialist candidates. That's a different kind of credential than it is likely that you possess. So that's for special ed teachers. It's included here because they will need to have access to that. So hopefully this makes sense. You would want to answer the vast majority of these on the self-assessment for the induction standards. These can be bullets. Please make sure that we steer clear of jargon. For example, we don't say, I scaffold my lessons. Please give us an idea of what scaffolding means to you. Again, it doesn't have to be a 3-page narrative. It can be bullets, it can be fairly short, but it needs to be very clear. Scaffolding to one person might mean a certain thing, whereas scaffolding to another is very different. So please just be very direct. What exactly do you do? If you have any questions, and you may likely, please make sure you talk to your support provider. That's what we're here for. We're going to be discussing it as we go forward so that you will be able to really describe your strengths and challenges.